What's up, guys? Um, Happy Tuesday. Uh, Wacky here a little bit, but let's see. We finally have baseball this week. This Saturday, we open up against Tampa. So that is good. Not too much to talk about Braves wise. They had their first full squad workout today, which is good. Marcell Ozuna was taking grounders at first, which he did last year, just an emergency of emergency cases, and just to keep himself relevant and keep himself versatile as he goes up in age a little bit. Ian Anderson talked about a little bit of the battle with Tommy John surgery. Since he couldn't throw right after surgery, he really worked on mechanics. So hopefully that'll help him. But he said he feels really good right now. Obviously, he won't be probably a factor for us until about June. Unfortunately, Dave McCabe, infield prospect, our third-ranked infield prospect, I believe, underwent Tommy John surgery. So that definitely hurts depth. But he is only 23 years old. What's up, Charles? So maybe there's a possibility, but that kind of hurts the infield depth for sure. And he's only 23, and he was only doing. He was in Augusta and Rome the last couple of seasons, so there's still a possibility that he can rebound, maybe. But it's tough break for him. Tough break for our depth. Alan Winans is dealing with a little bit of a small back issue right now, so they're gonna slow play him a little bit. But been really good so far. The vibes seem to be amazing in the clubhouse. I was talking about a prospect, infield prospect, Dave McCabe. Unfortunately, undergoing Tommy John surgery, but the vibes are really good in the clubhouse. Chris Sales seems to be fitting in very, very nicely. Max Fried's kind of been at Chris Sales' hip, watching him throw bullpens, and they've thrown together and things like that. So that's awesome. And the World Series or bust. The World Series or bust vibes are not surprising. No, I don't think they're gonna sign Montgomery soon. I know he followed the Braves on Instagram, but I don't put too much speculation in that until it happens. I don't think it's going to happen because that would definitely put us over the third threshold of the luxury tax, which I don't think they have a problem with. I just don't. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but I don't think it. I don't think we can fit the price tag that Jordan Montgomery wants. I think it would be a great veteran, and he's coming off one of his best years, obviously, with Texas. in the postseason push. But I don't. We'll see if it happens. I'll be super, super happy, but I'm not going to count my chickens, so to speak, on that. Kelnick, I think he's done all the right things. He's said all the right things. He's even worked out. He worked out with Matt Olson in Atlanta, hitting. I think you're probably going to see a hand adjustment because that seems to be Kevin Seitzer's special. I really like what he's brought clubhouse-wise as well. And he understands, and I think I've said this a ton, but I think he understands that he doesn't have to be the guy, just a guy, and just not putting too much pressure on himself. And I think the chemistry and the vibes are in a good spot right now. But obviously, it's going to be fun and interesting to see Jared Kelnick and how he fits in when we start playing games on Saturday. Let's see. Charlie Culberson seems pretty confident, as you would expect him to be. That's going to be a fun, interesting storyline to follow. I don't think he'll be able to crack our bullpen, but who knows? You've seen crazier things. Eddie Rosario has not signed anywhere yet. Neither has Adam Duvall. You've got Forrest Wall currently, although I wouldn't disagree with needing something, but the reality is, and Alex Anthopoulos spoke to this, our guys play every day, so you've got to find somebody that's willing to embrace that role. David Fletcher's around. Forrest Wall gives you that speed and showed some flashes last year and is still young. So at this point, I would think it's Forrest Wall, unless we decide to do something. But as it stands now, it's Forrest Walls to lose, in my opinion, as the roster stands now. But I don't disagree. I just don't see it necessarily happening right now. And like I've said, David Fletcher has a 91% contact rate, and that's something to write home about. And we've seen flashes from Forrest Wall that he can handle himself and give you a pretty good at bat. So that's as far as that goes. I had Eddie Rosario with the Angels, obviously because of the Ron Washington connection, but maybe Miami at this point. But Miami hasn't spent a cent on a free agent, so I am terrible at speculation, but those would be my guesses. But I don't know. He may be waiting until somebody unfortunately gets hurt. I do not think Charlie will pitch beyond this season. That's just a feeling. But I think he's still very, very quality for what he is, for the age that he is, and for all of that. I think he's really amazing, and he has the great mindset that he still has things to prove. even though he is 40. I think he's an important piece. We all know that. But no, I don't. I think 2024 is his last hurrah, as it were. If he wants to, I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put anything past him. But he also seems like a very soft-spoken guy, and most of the time when he does interviews and things, you need a thesaurus to kind of unpack what he's saying. So I don't know if that would jive, but he certainly knows the ins and outs of pitching. So if he wanted to, and he wanted a role, but I would think he'd want to retire and do the retire thing for a little while before he even ventured into that. But I wouldn't put it past him at all. Spencer Strider could potentially be breaking out a curveball. He said he was just messing with the variations of his slider, but if he's able to develop a curveball along with his changeup, no, Chipper will not be a manager someday, in my opinion. I think that window's kind of closed. I think Travis d'Arnaud is definitely a possibility, but I've never seen Chipper as the manager type. But he has been around us with hitting. But no, I don't. Just an opinion, but no, I think Chipper loves his advisory role and what it affords him to do with his family and such. So no, I that's but anyway, Spencer is able to develop some variation of a curveball with the ideal of his changeup coming along and using that in certain situations as well. As devastating as that fastball and slider, it could really put him over the top. Obviously, spring training is where you work on those things, and it's going to be fun to see that develop and see. Yeah, that's what has who right now. Our top prospects: Hurston Waldrop, Owen Murphy, AJ Smith-Shawver, Nacho Alvarez, Jose Perdomo, although we just signed him, so we won't see him for a bit, but the shortstop. Like I said, or I've said before, our farm system is pretty top heavy. Luke Waddle, Drake Baldwin. Those are our top infield prospects, with Dave McCabe undergoing Tommy John. So, Waldrop, of course, has a lot of eyes with that devastating splitter, for sure. that's to be expected. And that's one of the more devastating pitches that I believe Travis said that thing is nasty when he caught it the other day. So, of course, he's going to have a lot of eyes on him. And kind of jetpacking through our minor league system the way he did, even though it was just to keep him on some sort of pitching schedule. It's no mistake what you see from him. Tyler Matzik said everything looks good, everything feels good, but he might do an IL stint early on just to help him build up, depending on how spring training goes. Hey, Matthew. Just depending on how spring training goes. But he said everything feels good and is full go right now. And Snit said he has no limitations, so we'll wait and see on that. But he has awesome jewelry. Again, like I said, the vibes and the competitive spirit and the fire is really good in the clubhouse. Yeah, so we are really steaming towards. Yeah, I mentioned early on in the live that Chris Sales looked really, really good, and Max Fried and him has kind of been at the hip based on the videos that I've seen and things like that. So I feel really good about it. And Sean Murphy said that he looks amazing, looks status quo to what Chris Sale is supposed to look like. So that is a really good sign so far. And Oscar Inoa also said that he feels really good. So that's an interesting guy to watch, see progress through spring training and what happens. I guess the 5 spot in the rotation may have more layers to it than we think. And of course, with the Jordan Montgomery speculation of it all, which again I'm not buying into until I see it, but is what it is there. But yeah, I think the 5 spot in the rotation has a little bit more competition than we all think. AJ Smith-Shawver, Herschel Waldrop. Well, we're obviously gonna see what Bummer brings. Obviously, that's not a question. I think people are just down on him because his numbers don't look great to the hard numbers, and the numbers you see aren't great. What was your last question? I have no idea. I don't think so. I don't think I'd have to look it up. But offhand, I do not think so. But Ahmed Rosario did sign with the Tampa Bay Rays, that's actually pretty at only $1.5 million. That's actually really good value for what the Rays do and the quality that Ahmed Rosario has been for years for many teams and has been an ultimate pain in the neck for the Braves a lot of the time, so that's a nice get for them. Whit Merrifield did sign with the Phillies. Again, Ray Kerr is basically Aaron Bummer as well. He didn't, except Ray Kerr didn't have a lot of chances and consistent pitching. So again, his ERA, you don't read too much into his ERA either. Whit Merrifield did sign with the Phillies, 1 year, $8 million. Everybody's saying that Whit Merrifield would have been perfect, and yeah, but Whit Merrifield's a guy that still wants to play more, wants to be more in the infield, although I don't know how they're going to pull that off in Philly. So maybe he'll do his utility thing, but they have more of a ability for him to play more consistently than we do. So I think it's a good get for Philly for sure, but I think that's it wouldn't have worked the way our roster is constructed for sure. But happy for Whit, even though I'm gonna have to boo him now because he's with Philly. But that's just the nature of it. Let's see. Liam Hendriks signed a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Red Sox. Again, I don't understand what the Red Sox are doing. They're obviously not adding, but then they add some strange pieces that kind of don't make sense. But I'm happy for Liam Hendriks. Yeah, Lopez will definitely get a chance to start. They are stretching him out. He threw a bullpen the other day, 25 to 30 pitches. They are going to give him a chance to start again. I feel like I've said this on repeat this entire offseason, as I think he's more the Colin McHugh role. No, they're not. Good try, Matthew. If that's your trying to create our banter that we had last year, just because Marcelo Ozuna isn't going to be our left field, that's just not going to happen. But you did remind me just now of a couple of signings the Cubs had. Hey, Jim. Yeah, they are. Again, I don't see us getting them. I know the speculation of Jordan Montgomery followed the Braves on Instagram, and if that happens, and if it works out for both team and player, I'm cool with it. But it's not likely to me. Neither for Snell. I mean, especially if he hasn't gone off the price tag of $270, there's no way. So again, there couple of Cubs signings. They signed David Peralta, good vet, but very interesting. And then Dominic Smith, former National, former Met, was signed as well for the Cubs. No, he won't be. He's just taking ground balls at first, just to be available in an emergency situation, and just to continue his positional versatility, because he's getting older and he probably still wants to play, but right now he's DH. Only DH, but he's continuing to work at it, which I commend him for sure. Check and see, make sure there's No signings or anything. Well, yeah. Matt Olson's going nowhere, obviously. Marcelo Ozuna is just. I could maybe. I could. I could maybe buy the elder part of that. But the rest of it, nope. And again, nice try, Matthew. Seattle's been talking about Matt Chapman. The NBA All-Star Game, I think the commissioner is making too big of a deal out of it. It's supposed to be fun. And don't forget that the NBA All-Star Game is well past the halfway point of the NBA season. These guys deserve to have fun and just goof around and do what they want to do. And obviously, the only All-Star game that's going to look like the actual game is MLB, and I love the MLB All-Star games. Like the way they've done it the last couple of years, I've loved it. I think people make too much of it being bad. Blah 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 blah. I don't think it's for the fans. Obviously, I wish the dunk contest was a little better, but Matt McClung has made it a little better the last couple of years. I think the judging should be a little bit more serious. But that's just my opinion. I love the MLB All-Star Game. And all the rest of the all the rest of the All-Star games are solid as well in terms of what it's there for. And you can always continue to tinker with it. The Steph and Sabrina thing was awesome. I loved it. It's the different stuff you need in sports. It's a nice. It was just fun. It was something we'd never seen before. Need to see more of it, kind of thing. Yes, the All-Star Game is coming back, and Matthew, no. You got to come up with better. These aren't even feasible. I mean, the only feasible thing is maybe that Elder will be optioned to get an extra year. And you should have probably put Montgomery in one of those feasible or non-feasible because he followed the Braves on Instagram, which has gotten everybody up in arms a little bit that that's a possibility, which I don't believe, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. And yeah, the All-Star game coming back to Atlanta. No, JD Martinez hasn't signed anywhere. I'll double check, but I don't think he has. He was supposed to sign with the Mets along. Nope. Still a free agent. But the All-Star game being back in Atlanta is awesome in 2025. We all deserve that. For sure. but that's awesome. So yeah. Yeah, I saw that. Good for Kansas City to be able to get the bad guys in that situation, but it's super sad. Obviously. Okay, Matthew, that one makes a little bit more sense, but still probably not gonna happen. Yeah, I'm just happy that they're able to get some closure and some peace in a terrible situation, and that's all I got to say about that. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, until games starts, I mean, there's still tons of free agents still out there, which again, I think it's a terrible look for Scott Boras, and I don't think it's a good thing for baseball, but it is what it is. And obviously, I think that's got to be corrected in some way. But don't ask me how, because that's a Brandon Woodruff did go back to. Sorry, spacing a little bit, but Brandon Woodruff did go back to the Brewers on a 2-year deal. It would be nice to get a championship in Charlotte. And who knows? Maybe. No, Matthew. No. Snell and Montgomery, no. I can 5% or 10% buy the Montgomery possibility, but Snell, absolutely not. Apparently, the Yankees are still looking for pitching, which isn't everybody. The Pirates have been engaged with the Marlins on Luzardo and Cabrera, which I don't know why the Marlins would even entertain either of those. I didn't hear anything about the Knights being for sale. That's interesting. I'll have to look more into that before I comment on it because I have no idea. Kyle Bradish for the Orioles has a UCL injury that he's going to try to pitch through. Probably not a great idea. The Orioles, excuse me, the Orioles have somewhat been hit by the injury bug early in camp, which is never a good thing. But I guess early is better than late or in season. Ellie De La Cruz hit Hunter Green's car with a foul ball today. So that was the fun thing that happened on socials. Kind of funny. I still don't understand what the Reds are going to do with all those infielders that they have, but guess depth is an amazing thing. But I mean the Braves are pretty status quo, and everything is being pretty seamless. I think I mentioned this earlier, but I feel like the fourth outfielder right now is definitely going to be Forrest Wall or JP Martinez, because Alex Anthopoulos mentioned that speed is going to be a huge factor in one of those bench spots. So But I'm still surprised there are so many quality free agents out there. A veteran pitcher, Hyunjin Ryu, decided to go back to Korea, 4 years, 12.7 million with the Naopon Eagles. So that takes a veteran off the market. That's no. Tim Anderson. That I just don't think. I don't think he fits the clubhouse. And not to shoot you down that emphatically, but I don't think we could, Jim, but I don't see that happening. And Tim Anderson, I just don't think he fits. I just don't. I don't like to. You guys know I don't like to speculate, and we could sign another starter, but the reality is, if we sign another starter, that takes us to the third level luxury tax, which I talked about earlier, which takes us 10 draft picks lower, which I don't know that you want to do that. Yes, I've watched the Savannah Bananas. They've actually been on ESPN2 and stuff like that. So, yes, I've caught them before. They are fun. They are awesome. I'll take 103 wins. Charles, for sure. And plus, I think Tim Anderson wants a chance, a prove it chance, if that makes sense. That he can get back to the all-star status. So I don't think he fits the club in any way, shape, or form. And again, I'm not. Yeah, the Harlem Girl. That's a good good description, Joseph. And I'm not saying that I don't disagree that we should add another starter, but I just don't see it right now. And you know how I don't love to speculate from day to day, let alone next year and beyond. But that's just my thoughts on that, especially since you currently have Hurston Waldrop, AJ Smith-Shawver, Oscar Enoa, Darius Vines, Owen Murphy, those kind. Yeah, the Beast of the East. I think the depth is fine now. Obviously, next year is a different story, but we'll just see how things play out. And like I said, the offseason, there's still a ton of players out there. Things could change. Things could happen. We all know that. So anything can happen. And Alex Anthopoulos has surprised us many a time before. So I'm not discounting any of the possibilities. Yeah. Yeah, 7-Pete, and then the crapshoot of the playoffs that anything can happen. I just hope we go into the playoffs with a healthy pitching staff, and then we'll see what happens otherwise. Probably, I would say maybe if he's willing to take a 2-year deal with a club option. And again, I'll say this again, I'm terrible at speculating, but I wouldn't doubt Ronald for back-to-back MVP, because obviously you have Shohei Ohtani in the National League now, so it may be a little harder, but 2 years with a club option for a third, maybe. I have no idea. I don't even know if that's feasible. But it is getting to the point in the offseason where I don't even know if these guys would be ready for camp. I've talked about well, if he was already offered 27 for 7, I don't know why he didn't take it. But I've talked about Fried a lot. I think the writing's on the wall, honestly. I know things could change, but it feels like we just need to enjoy Max Fried this year and enjoy everything about it, because at this point he deserves it all. But I think we all know the writing's on the wall, that this will be his last year, and obviously things can change, and I'm all up for surprises. Yeah. Yeah, I know we did, and I know we wanted to go back to Philly, so that, I mean, and Aaron Nola would have been our third starter this year, so, but that would have protected, we would have had better stacks for next year. What? 242, maybe. Again, I don't know. We're so private with these things, contracts and stuff like that. I would love for both of them to be back, but the way we do extensions and things, I feel like if the Fried one was going to happen, it would have already happened. And Minter, I'm not sure. Minter is still possible to me, but again, he's more possible than Fried. But I feel like we've done a nice job of building the left-handed depth that that if we were to lose Minter, it wouldn't be dire. I mean, Fried, that's a different story. Depends on what we're able to do to combat that. But again, I'm not gonna go too far down the road, just because if I do, I go into a tailspin thing mind-wise. So I'm gonna I'm gonna enjoy Max Fried at 2024, and if anything happens, yay. If it doesn't, thank you, Max Fried, for everything, and hopefully we'll have him at a 2-time champion so he can go out on a high note. Yeah, I think Guillorme. I know people are but like I keep saying, and I think Alex Anthopoulos has said, because our guys play every day, he has embraced the role of just coming here, doing what he's asked, and yeah, I think Austin Riley is definitely on pace for that. But I think Guillorme is the perfect fit clubhouse wise, and embracing the role and understanding that he's not going to play a lot, but when he does, be solid, give us a good at bat. I mean, he was the one that had the 22 at bat plate appearance in spring training a couple of years ago. So that's there, and obviously the magic of Kevin Seitzer. It could be a diamond in the rough, and it's important that a guy is able to embrace the role of not playing a lot. I don't. Why not? I mean, he did it for us. He did it for us a couple of years ago when we ran out of available pitching in like the 10th inning of a game. If I'm not mistaken, we ended up not winning that game, but it wasn't because of Culberson. But I think he's fully embraced the pitcher part, so I don't know if we could manipulate it that way. I don't think that's allowed. Yes. Strider and Riley, yes, their extensions were last year. Yeah. So creative, Matthew, but I don't think that's legal. But it's just like a position player pitching, but since Charlie has fully embraced the pitching side of things, I don't think he can go back. But yeah, I think. But again, really excited. We're getting closer and closer to actual baseball. So these chats will be more filled with all of that stuff. So that'll be good. But yeah, I think couldn't gone any better so far. Knock on wood. Yes, spring training starts Saturday. We play the Rays at 1. And obviously we play a lot of the same teams. But yeah, the full grind starts Saturday. I think some start on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, because the Dodgers and Padres have the international series to start. No, it is not. most of the Braves televised games will be in March. I watched them on MLB TV, my computer. But no, unfortunately, because the Braves are with Bally, it's kind of a thing. It might be for the Rays, but I don't know. Like a lot of the teams have all their games televised, but and actually, I think 8 is more than we've had in the past. But like I said, I watch them all on my computer until they're televised, and then I switch that way. But I do not believe Saturday's game is televised. Yeah, March 2nd through all of those, I believe. And you can also see them sometimes on MLB Network. So I don't want to say completely they're not, but sometimes when we play Boston, they're on MLB Network. So that's a possibility as well. And other teams' networks also. And there's a lot of teams that televise them all, which I'm kind of jealous of, but it's just not not in the cards for Bally right now. So, yeah, but really excited to get everything rolling. See how those battles, but even though they're few and far between, they usually are very intriguing to watch, and there's usually a prospect or two that comes out of nowhere to open some eyes, and maybe it'll be Isaiah Drake or Luke Waddle or somebody we're not even thinking of. But it's really exciting. Like I continue to say, the vibes are really good right now. I think there's an extra really good edge in the clubhouse right now. We'll see how everything shakes out, but again, I'll have everything covered on Braves Anatomy. From even the smallest things. I try to do a spring training news and notes video every single day, even if it's a funny video, funny short video, or whatever the case may be. Try to keep y'all informed, and we'll do spring training recaps every single game day after the games. Obviously, if you've followed me for a while now, you know that, but want to make sure everything is set. And I probably will do, when the Braves start broadcasting stuff on TV, I may do a live watch. So I'll let you guys know that as well. But yeah, just trying to keep the content flowing and keep the excitement for the Braves. And I'll do, once the games start, I'll do a stock watch type of video for guys that are doing well and their stock is going up, and guys that are struggling that may affect their status. But I think I've done that the past couple of spring trainings, and it's kind of nice just to keep everyone informed that way as well, different way. And any other content you guys, yeah, Tommy Pham is still available. Again, Tommy Pham seems like a guy that wants to play a little more and probably wouldn't embrace the role that that our team has, and the and his personality and stuff, I don't know if that fits necessarily. I think he's a solid baseball player and would bring stuff to the table. I just don't know if that fits in the clubhouse. Just my opinion. Again, same thing. Would love Duval, but I think he thinks he can play more, and I think he proved it last year with Boston. Despite his injury, I think he can still be a bit more of a regular than we are in the market for. But again, it's a possibility. Um, but like I said, I'm just going based on the way our roster looks, the way we typically do things, and our guys play every day. So, and there's only one ball and 9 positions. So, um, feasibly, a lot of the people you're mentioning could bring something to the table, but it's just not how the roster is constructed. As of right now, I don't know. David Fletcher, maybe. But we have Chadwick Trump as probably the third catcher. We would have to call him up, but I don't think we would. Or Culberson, if he makes our team, he would have to probably flip back to catcher. I don't know. Those are the 2 names that come to mind right away. But I think another it's just intriguing is David Fletcher, and I feel like Luis Guillorme is one of the spots just because I spoke about earlier that he's already embraced the role of whatever you need me to do, which I know is not much, but when you need me to do it, I'm gonna be solid. Type thing. So, but as it is right now, like again, Michael A. Taylor, I've been talking about him all off season. But again, he's one that blasted 21 homers last year. Probably wants to play more. So probably not feasible. But and by the way, this is a good thing that we don't have a ton of spots to fill. It always is a good thing. And 98.5% of your roster figured out is a really, 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 really good thing. Um, uh, hey Tony. I think Austin's kind of emerged a little bit. I don't think he's as vocal like when it comes to like interviews and stuff, but I think he's vocal within the clubhouse. Yeah, but those are the 2 position players that come to mind. Pitching wise, probably. Pitching wise, probably Tyler Matzik, and that's usually you don't like. I mean, coming out of the bullpen, maybe even Chris Sale this year. I know he is new to the team, but I think he can bring that element. But yeah, those are the guys that come to mind right away. Joseph, I love having a Curry in Charlotte again. We're 30. It just feels right. But thanks, Tony, for your question and support and all of that. And I don't think anybody's ever called me Miss C, so that might be a new nickname of sorts. But yeah, I hope I answered your question. And we'll see. I think there's different. We have a nice mix of different type of leaders. That's a great thing. Yeah, I think they're gonna do a player broadcast at least once again this year. Those are always fun. It's basically like us watching a game together, just having fun. Well, having fun if we're winning, I guess, and that's a good thing. Thank you, Charles. But yeah, I love the player only broadcast. And I'm really excited to see CJ Nikowski and Brennan Godden and all the guys that are coming in. Go Braves, champions forever. Yeah, I think Chipper's he's very insightful and very awesome to listen to because I think we all are thinking what he says a lot, so that's a nice quality for sure. Yeah, I appreciate that in what he does. I think I'm all for that. I don't want to say it wrong, but I'm all for that, Tanya. 2024 seems like a great a great year for us to make some noise and some real noise. I'm always excited as a new season comes because there's always different storylines that we're not expecting, different and always the new possibilities, the lovely possibilities of everything, and getting to watch and talk about Braves baseball for 6 months, possibly 7 months, hopefully 7 months is always a great thing. But I think I covered everything. But I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks for all the comments and questions and all that stuff. This was a nice, fluid Cast Mac chat, which is nice. Sure, we'll have a lot to talk about. Yeah, the 5 days off. The 5 days off is always a topic. I don't like it either, but I think you want the bye every single time. Honestly, I think we haven't been healthy going into the last couple of years of the playoffs, and So hopefully our pitching staff is completely healthy, and hopefully we don't forget how to hit. I don't like the 5 days off either, but I don't think you can say no to a bye in a 5-game series, because we all know in a 3-game series anything can happen. AKA us losing to Oakland 2 out of 3 last year. And Joseph, thank you for watching my other channel. I'm trying to build that as well. Trying to do a lot of things. The extra inning rule, everybody seems to like it. That plays it, so it's not going anywhere. I've said this a lot, that the Phillies are not a good matchup for the Braves. They haven't been a good matchup for the Braves in the postseason ever. Anytime we faced them, even back in the older days. So we got to get over that hump. It's just like the Dodgers, just like we haven't been able to beat the Cardinals when we've seen them either. So I can't see what. I'm not sure, but I do know the extra inning rule is not going anywhere. I like as long as the extra inning rule doesn't go into the postseason, I'm good with it, because I think it helps you manage your bullpen better, and guys aren't dropping like flies by June. So I don't. I don't mind it. It was weird at first, but it is what it is. I think change is inevitable, kind of thing. Yep, go Braves. Yeah, I mean, it hurts to keep getting beat by the Phillies or back-to-back years or whatever, but like I said, they've never been a good matchup for us in the postseason, and I don't see that changing until we A, are healthy, and B, remember how to hit the ball. So um, it's not going away, Charles. And a lot of people feel the way you do, but with the players and everybody involved liking it or have embraced it at least. And if you watch the Braves, which I know you have, it's been a struggle for us in extra innings at times to not be able to get the runner in second. So it just gives you another. Thanks, Chris. It's just another element of strategy. I'm a baseball purist, so I don't mind watching longer games, but I understand. Again, it's kind of like the extra inning rule. Everybody seemed to liked it. That has to play in it, and they. Yeah, I mean, again, changes inevitable, and with the players and coaches and managers and everybody embracing it, and for the most part liking it. I don't think the sacrifice bunt is something that you just don't want to give away outs in this day and age. That's why you don't. The the thing. I hope we always keep the umps, and it's just a challenge system, like 5 challenges, because I think there's an element of strategy that you can use. And if you don't have challenges at the most important time, then that's tough luck. And I think the challenge system I'm good with. I don't want to go full artificial or robo umps. The New Jerseys are definitely an eyesore. I hope they fix that. But again, I don't know how you quick fix that. But I thought it was with Fanatics. Maybe I was wrong. But whatever. They need to fix them. They're an eyesore. And the players don't like them. So that needs to be rectified for sure. Maybe I'll start these the new jerseys that everyone is wearing. Maybe I'll start these things at 7:30 instead of 7 because just the interaction seems to go up. So that's a thought. But yeah, Charles, they're all the new jerseys that everyone's wearing. They're new and not great. No, just the normal. Just when you're watching spring training, you'll see. The City Connects. The City Connects I like for the Braves, so we're good there. But yeah. So guys, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button. It helps out a lot. I really, really appreciate everything. It's really close. Yeah. Really, really appreciate everything. I think I covered everything. Not sure. If you have any last minute questions, comments, all that. Otherwise, I will see you guys next Tuesday. And we will get to talk about actual games and actual stat lines and all that stuff. But this is incredible that the new people, the new interactions and all that stuff. That's great. It's fun. But as always, go Braves, champions forever. I will see you guys next Tuesday. And I will have everything covered before then. So just make sure you're tuned in to the channel.